Hello, everybody. Welcome to the office hours for the Chameleon Academy. This is a show that goes live on Instagram and on the YouTube channel. And we are live. If you're watching the replay, just know that you can be here live with us and be here in the chat. We've got quite the community chat going on here. And this is office hours, so that means that we can ask questions. You ask questions, and I answer questions. This is your show. You get to ask questions, and so let's see. James Cross is saying, not sure if you guys read my previous comment, but Bill's going to be a minute or two late. He's coming back from appointment. Oh my goodness, yes. Thank you very much, James, for having my back there. So yes, half of my face is kind of numb right now, and I'm just recovering from it. Hello, Artie's Chameleons. Oh, Matthew got the book. Excellent. Oh, comes tomorrow. I am so glad that Matthew was in, I think, Spain, if I remember correctly, and was waiting until the book Tiny Dragons got onto Amazon to be able to order it. And I got it on Amazon, and Matthew ordered it. So I'm excited to hear about how it shows up, because now this is a different printer than I selected. This is Amazon. So yeah, we'll see. Let me know how it goes. So hello, everybody. Oh, even Mason's Turtles. By the way, everybody on Instagram is going really crazy lately. I don't know what's up with the app. Something about Instagram, they keep changing it. I don't know. So if there's any problem or we drop off, you can go to the Chameleon Academy Live YouTube channel. It's Chameleon Academy Live, and there's a pretty active community there. So you can join that if something goes wrong. So, all right, everybody. Oh, everybody's saying hello. Yes. Trying to get some feeling back into this. And we are having a heat wave. It's like 100 out there. So yeah, this is stuff that is supposed to be for James, not me. So I don't know what happened. I think his heat is spilling over, and we got to deal with it here. So so everybody, all right, let's go to the chat and see how everybody is doing. So we'll start here. I'll start ahead in the chat. Everybody, Joanne says, gives me a heat. Yes, Joanne, it is horrible. My chameleons are not happy. And I've got air conditioning running. And boy, yeah, we know it. We know the cost of that. So Janet's got some heat. Flick is from Northern Ireland. Hello, Flick. Welcome here. 107 today. Power went out at 6 o'clock. Yikes. Out till 1. Ran out of water yesterday. Oh, goodness. That's right. Because James, you've got pumps. Yeah. So, all right. So let's get to work, right? It's business. It's office hours. This is the time that we talk chameleons. Any questions that you got, just throw them into the chat, and we will talk about it. The cup for the day is the Chameleon Academy cup. So I'll work on getting the mushroom cup later. Carson's got 97 in Boise. Wow, we got a lot of good heat going on these days. Yikes. So the good news is my little chameleons are growing, and I hope that we're going to be seeing some wild colors coming in. For a little bit of a background, I have a bunch of baby pardalis that were hatched from a mother that we were a little bit suspicious. She was labeled Umbanja, but we're not sure. And they were hatched over like a 2-month period. So I got a lot of different sizes. And the whole idea is to keep them until we can verify that they are Umbanja. Hello, Coco the Cam. He's still singing the Bill Strand theme on Instagram. Wait, what's going on with Nate? Let's see. Oh, Nate says, update for completion. My male bifidus Henry, who has not eaten in 3 weeks, ate 12 flies and a bee today. Caught them with my butterfly net. Yeah, we're having a lot of flies around here, and so every afternoon, we keep the door open when we let the dogs out, so flies come in, and then I gather them up with my net and I feed them. These babies get a lot of flies. I love it. They like them. They like the flies. So, but in this case, that was something Nate was worried about. His Percifer bifidus. He's got a male who wasn't eating, and so when your chameleon is not eating, you get worried. We don't like hunger strikes with our chameleons. Now, luckily, our chameleons don't burn a whole lot of calories. Excuse me. And so they can go a while without eating, and just sitting there. Chameleons just sit there normally. They're not like a mammal or a dog or something that has to move. They are built for staying still. So when they decide they're not going to eat, it's not a big deal. We do like to weigh them. So say if you have a hunger strike and you're wondering, should I be worried? And if the weight decreases by, say, 5%, wow, that's my personal. There's no official medical saying, well, if you go down this much, you should be worried. That's my personal warning light, is when the chameleon's weight decreases by 5%. Now, you do also have to worry about dehydration and make sure that it's when they're regularly hydrated. Are they have they lost 5% of their weight? Then I start to get worried. But until then, just let them get over their hunger strike. My wife would kill me if I left the door open. She freaks out on flies. Yeah. So, hey, Archie's chameleons. And the thing is, when you're dealing, and the reason why I think this was a little bit more of a concern with Nate is because the first bifidus is a wild caught. And so when the wild caught comes in, there's all sorts of things that could be wrong, including parasites, pathogens, diseases, anything. And when your chameleon, who you're not sure what their health status is, stops eating, you get worried. Yeah, let's see. I got Sean McNeely saying, "Hey, Bill, where is my newsletter?" Complaining about newsletters. Yeah, I'm working on that newsletter, but 11 days ago. So I'm working on that newsletter that was supposed to go out on this Friday, last Friday. It says weekly on the site. Gosh, I got people are just busting my chops here. Renee says, walking around the dollar store, blasting everyone at the Chameleon Academy, as is appropriate. Nick says, I'm considering free-range day geckos to manage our escapee insects. All right, everybody, I'm going to tell them my story again. When I was a bachelor, I had a problem with roaches. Little roaches, not the big ones, the little roaches. I'd just go into my kitchen, I turned on the light, and they would just scurry all over the place. And I got a gecko. And I just let a gecko go, and my roach problem disappeared. I saw that gecko once every 6 months. We would meet. I would turn the light on in the bathroom. We would meet. I would see him up on the wall. He would see me. I would salute him. He would just acknowledge me, and we'd go on our way. Apparently, he was happy, and he was eating everything, and I was happy because I wasn't seeing anything that he was eating. Lizanne said, should we chill with the chop busting? I don't know. I'm a little bit loopy right now. AI Sean sure does have Bill's content release schedule integrated into his LLM. Ooh. Yeah. Yeah. Oh. Lisa says, I'm working a job at Chili's restaurant and they can all hear our little camel. There we go. There we go. So now, one thing that I am confused by is these little chameleons. So the reason why I keep talking about these little baby panther chameleons is because they have totally flipped the script. Meaning, usually baby panther chameleons, they eat to their heart's content. They're always eating, and they grow at an incredible rate. So these little guys, they don't care to eat. They've got food all over the place. I make sure there's food all over the place, and they do poop. But when I put new food in, they just look at it. They go, maybe I'll get to it. It's like they don't run after it like panther chameleons should do. Every panther chameleon I've raised before has been, I want that food. And so these guys are just rewriting everything. They don't want to grow fast. They'll eat, they'll poop, but you know what? They'll do it casually. So you know what? What's going on in my household? Because one of my dogs has decided they don't feel like eating. Since when does a dog not feel like eating? What the heck is up with that? So maybe it's just something going on in my house. Hasn't affected me. I've been doing a lot of eating, although not lately because my mouth's all messed up. I got things on this side and things on this side, and it all just decided it had to go at the same time. So that would scare the heck out. I don't like tokay gecko. Yeah, tokay geckos are kind of crazy. My wife bought me a tokay when we were dating. I opened up the box. It ran up my arm, bit me once, and I didn't see it again. For several months, I would only see it in the middle of the night. Oh, that's perfect. That's perfect. Hey, Sakshabungru. Hello. Oh, James, that's funny. A Grandis. Grandis. That's the large day gecko. That would be really cool to have running around. Okay, Tutorial Tom has got a chameleon problem today, but with a tortoise. That's okay. We thought it had escaped the enclosure, spent an hour searching, and then realized he had climbed up into a pot and was hiding in a spider plant. Wow, a tortoise is able to pull off a chameleon. Hello, or Borges. Tokay was mean as heck. Yeah, that's what happens when you go outside of chameleons. See, Nick is saying, Mike and I have some ideas for our store when we get to that point. Long story short, catch your own gecko room for kids. I'm just trying to figure out how to get that PETA approved. Yeah, they're all gonna go home with tails. Let's see. Janet says, I'm still wondering, Bill, if something was wrong with the female or with their genes. At this point, who knows? They will get up to, it looks like they're eventually getting up to adult size. And so, if they get up to adult size, I just chalk it up to, okay, this is just the way they do it. And if they eventually get up to, if they live healthy lives, then hey, maybe I'll continue this line, because I really love having babies for 6, 12 months, 10 months. I love it. So Nate's now being careful, not razzing you. Will the Patterson's Care Guide cover possible vertebrate feeders? It would probably be a good idea for me to include that for Parsons. I hadn't considered that, but that's probably a good idea for me to consider. It depends on how big the care guide is. I may have to do it just to get it out there, and then build it up a little bit later. We'll see. But very good point. Nate always has these good points. Everybody needs a Nate. Okay. Sakshamungra is asking, see baby update, soon to be 5 months old, but has a hard time being interested in the screen feeder. So what we're talking about is the feeder run cups that go against the screen. Any tips? I don't want to let them roam free because they eat my plants. Yeah, it's a good idea not to let them roam free. Well, Sakshamungru, what I would do is I would maybe get a bigger feeder, so it's wider. You can get. Do I have this one here? Oh yeah, I'll go show you. So you can get these larger containers and make one of these feeder run cups for yourself, and you can do it at any size. And the advantage of having a larger size is that there's a larger area for the crickets and stuff to run up, and really there's no too large. As long as the crickets can't get out of it, the larger it is, actually the better, because they spread out and they have more room to move, and they don't stop, because when you got a small container, they kind of go round and round, and they figure out, oh, okay, I can't go anywhere, so then they stop. So with a larger container, they just keep going, and you can put carrots in there so they can eat and all that kind of fun stuff. So there we go. So you can consider that, but they just may not be hungry, which I know freaks us all out. But and then Bill, last week I wanted to know if I leave Rambo's eggs in her enclosure, will they hatch, even though you told me to put them in my work? Oh, that's right. I was answering that question, and Instagram shut down because Taylor Swift got engaged, and it took the platform down. So, Matt got problems with Instagram. Yeah, me too. No, what I said is that eggs will hatch. Panther eggs, veiled eggs, they will hatch inside of your enclosure. So, it's no guarantee. You've got a lot of variables going on there, but people have been surprised by all of a sudden a bunch of baby panthers in their cage because they didn't realize that the female laid eggs. So, yes, it will. People have had it. Okay, it's not outside of the realm of reason for the eggs to hatch inside your cage. In fact, that's something that is fun to do. If a sense of adventure is more important than the making sure that the babies do something that you are that's predictable, then do it. I've done it before, and I chickened out a week before they hatched. So I left them in the veiled. Veiled, same way. I left the eggs in the cage, and I was just going to leave them there, and I chickened out, and I dug them out. I brought them all out, and a week later they hatched. Now, I don't think me bringing them out is what made them hatch, but so I chickened out. I should have held to it. So let's see. Alicia says the milk jug style was the first one I could get Cash interested in eating out of. Yeah. Oh no, not the invertebrate feeders. The community is going to go nuts. Yeah, so invertebrate feeders, I mean, I don't have any problem with it. I don't think that it should be a regular thing, but also I don't have anything to back that up other than they're mostly insectivores. But we all know they'll take lizards, they'll take birds, they'll take mice, they'll take anything that fits in their mouth. So I would imagine that so go for it. You want to feed invertebrates to your chameleons, or vertebrates to your chameleons. I don't have anything that says it's dangerous. People say, well, that's too much protein, it will overload their system. Maybe that's true. I don't have any information to say it's any personal experience to say it's dangerous, and I don't have any desire to test it out. So I am content not having a strong opinion on vertebrate feeders for large chameleons. I will just say I'm not doing it, and I don't have any information that it's, if you got a chameleon that you think needs like the big burst of something, go for it. Vertebrates have preformed vitamin A in their organs, and so you get that. And so maybe chameleons need it once every now and then. But then again, most chameleons are not big enough to reliably, that the body could rely on getting a vertebrate feeder. I mean, no matter what chameleon you are, there's almost always a chameleon smaller than you. So, there's that. So you can make all sorts of arguments for it. But I will say, give me information if you have information, and I will slowly gather experience, and I will develop my opinion as I get more information. All right, some people are talking about sports. Nick says, I've had to put eggs into the baby enclosure due to being out of town when they were hatching. I wish I recorded them. Yeah. Yeah, that's very cool. So what Nick's talking about is when you think the babies are going to be hatching, well, you can't just leave them. Can't leave them in the incubation chamber. So you just take the cover off the incubation chamber and you put it into the baby cage. Make sure it doesn't desiccate, and they hatch. Bill, what other real small feeders do you like besides bean beetles, fruit flies, and blue bottle? I like fruit flies. Fruit flies and bean beetles are what I use. And I also use crickets. I get them on crickets as soon as I can get crickets small enough. So generally pinheaded crickets, even Brookesia, even baby Brookesia can handle pinhead crickets. So get them on crickets, that packs on the weight. I've only done it a couple of times, but they do go for it. They definitely will eat lizards. Have there been any studies published on fecal and/or contents of Parsons chameleons? Maybe. I don't know off the top of my head. I know there have been some analysis of them. I don't know that we have enough analysis to make a sweeping generalization, but we do know that they will eat them, and they will eat anything, and they don't hesitate. Sometimes, yeah, I'll leave it at that. Is there any way to test fecals and see what their diet primarily is? Yes, but we all have to be very careful as to how much we draw from the tests, because it's extremely hard to find chameleon poop in the wild. And that means that we don't find a whole lot of it. And so our testing is limited. And that's the problem, because if you find a poop after they eat a rodent, well, then that's going to skew results. That may be the only rodent they've had for 2 years. So we just got to be careful how much weight we put on the studies. We have to look at how many poops they looked at. And the thing is, you can't bring a chameleon. I mean, I suppose you could bring a chameleon into your camp and just hold them until they pooped. I guess that's one way you could do it. Maybe that's the way they did it. I don't remember. I know there have been some fecal analysis. Dean Missimer is actually on top of this kind of stuff. Two-year-old Tom has checked and says it doesn't look like anyone has done that work. Thank you, Two-year-old Tom, for the question and the answer. It's so funny. Cash will only eat naked superworms. Cash is Alicia's panther chameleon, and Cash has grown up. We've gone through quite the story and saga with Alicia. She came here with an egg. The egg didn't do so well, so she got Cash. Cash is an ambulo panther chameleon. James says, I found brevicorn poop. Yes, you did. James inspired brevicorn poop. So you know what? Once again, a chameleon pooped on one of us, and who do you think it was? Yes, James Cross. The guy just, I don't know, there's a nexus around him or something. Renee says, well, my remark was to be funny. Okay. Matt Trick is asking, just hopped on, how do you guys fog your enclosure, multiple enclosures? You get a big enough fogger, and a lot of us use PVC piping. These guys aren't hooked up, so I can't show you, but a lot of times we use PVC piping. So put the fogger on one end and the PVC goes, and it has a little output, has a little output, boom. That's actually the system that I have for these cages back here, but I don't have it hooked up right now because I've been doing a bunch of moving. Where is but I should have it around here. Okay. Anyway, I think you know if you don't know what I mean, go ahead, ask, say clarification, please. But yeah. He had all types of it. He had all type. He was in Adventure James. So I think we didn't know, the universe didn't know if James was going to be James making it back or not. So it decided it was going to give a lifetime of adventure in that one trip. But now I've got a bunch. You know what? I actually have a bunch of people saying that they're going to go on the 2027 trip. And at least one of them is saying, as long as James goes. So James now is feeling like he's got to go, twist his arm. And so 2027 is gearing up. It looks like we're doing this again, which I'm not complaining about. See, Nate says, I use a six head fogger for 6 enclosures. 2-inch backhaul to 1.5 inch to enclosures, PVC pipes, shared reservoir for mist pumps. All right, so what Nate is talking about is he has a big reservoir that feeds the mist pumps as well as the fogger. When he says a 6-head fogger, what he means is from the House of Hydro, they have these fog heads, and how many transducers are in there. So Nate's using a 6 transducer module, and he says that powers and fogs enough for 6 enclosures. And so he's got a 2-inch pipe coming off of the fogger, which branches off into 1.5 inch legs to go off and feed the cages. There we go. Sure is all worth it. Start practicing French, though. Yeah, I think when James goes back, he's going to learn French and he's going to spend some time in Paris. Makes total sense. I need a large fogger and PVC going to each enclosure. Yep, that's it. That's it, Madrick. Oh. And Nate says, I also fog mist with a reverse osmosis DIRODI water, much better. Yes, I love fogging and misting with RO water. It just cleaner, looks better, and smells better. Yes, smell is important for me because I don't like the smell of my tap water. Not only does it create all sorts of deposits on the fogger. I mean, you look inside the fogger, it's like caked with all this mineral stuff. So let me get that out of the sun. And so I like RO water so much more. So much more. I recommend RO water. Thank you, Nate. I have a 5-gallon bucket with RO for my misting so I can get a fogger that I can hook up. Oh, yes, Madrick. That's exactly what you should do. Yes, you get your bucket, assuming your bucket has a lid, and then do I have my, gosh darn it. And then you attach the fan and an outlet on the lid and you float the fogger that you get from House of Hydro. It just floats on top of the water in your bucket, and you use the same reservoir. It's amazing. Is there a way to process RODI at home? Yes. You get a reverse osmosis unit and hook it up. I have mine hooked up to a hose, and when I turn it on, it takes me an hour and a half to get 5 gallons. And then I have the wastewater go into the backyard. And Nate says he uses a 22-gallon tub for his reservoir. Now that's a dude of a reservoir. I respect a 22-gallon reservoir. Goodfellas says, I love your pets. I do too. And I'm glad you're enjoying them. So, how's the shamrock egg doing, Bill? What Two Turtle Tom is talking about is I have been trying for 3 years to breed my shamrock chameleons, Kaluma O'Shaughnessy, and I keep getting these infertile clutches. Well, one of those infertile clutches, there was one egg that still looks good. And Two Turtle Tom, it still looks good. I'm about to take it out of diapause. What the heck? I'm going to have to check my dates, but it's in September. So I think it's time for me to take it out of diapause. And we'll see. We'll see if it keeps going. But right now, it's still looking good. I may have one fertile egg. So, but last week I got a bunch of really good matings with the shamrock chameleons. So I'm really happy about that. Heck, wouldn't that be incredible if I had eggs? I could have about a 4-month gestation. So maybe September, October, November, December. They may lay eggs while I'm in Madagascar. Wouldn't that be poetic? Dal Draco says, how is Spearmint? Well, he's not looking at the bottom of the cage like he was last time. So he's doing pretty good. He's doing good. I'm just watching his behaviors. He tried to mate. The female said no. So I said, okay, well, at least he's got it. At least he's got it. Two Turtle Tom says, next year you're going to have a ton of eggs, I predict. It's very possible because they have now, after 3 years, they've really started to get in tune with the seasons. And so, I've got, as long as I add water through my my sprinklers and my misters and stuff, I can replicate through the outdoors. I can replicate their rainy season and dry season. And so they may be acclimated and onto our seasons now. And if that's the case, then next year things may actually be good. Yes. Squishy still around. Yeah, he's still around. Let's see. Yikes. Yikes. Well, I can't see him. He's still around. He's still eating and stuff, but he's not. But once again, he doesn't like coming out during the live session. So we used to have this little baby Squishy. It was a little baby panther, and he would come out during the live session, and that's how he got a name. But he did that for a couple of months, and then decided, okay, I'm done with this. He's done with show business, and now he doesn't come out during the shows. But been trying to. I tried to breed. I have an adult pair of bifidus. I have 3.2 bifidus. All the males are adults, but I do have an adult female and I have a juvenile female, or maybe subadult. I'm not sure. And the adult female is not interested in mating. So, oh well. Can you snag us a pic for Saturday or the campus? Oh, you mean of Squishy? I can do a one of Squishy. Still have an emerald tree boa. I do. I still have my emerald tree boa, and that boy is she spicy. She is not. She is not very friendly. So, all right, let's see. Squishy realized podcast or where it's at. Oh yes, I have to say there will be no podcast tomorrow. My life kind of got crazy, and I had things moved around schedule wise, and yes, I left it to the last minute, and then a schedule change with my dentist got in the way. And this is what happens when you don't do things ahead of time. I keep falling into that trap. I have fallen into that trap again. I apologize. I won't be able to release the podcast tomorrow. I need to do more work on it. So once again, I have fallen behind, and in both newsletter and podcast. And so that's a sign to me that I better figure out a better way and be better at what I commit. I do have the seminar happening on Sunday on fostering baby chameleons. It's going to be about setting up a system like this so you can have a really cool apartment foster setting up system. And that's going to happen on the virtual campus. People wondering, what's virtual campus? Virtual campus is a community platform that is ours. And I keep saying this because it's important. I keep having friends here and there lose their social media accounts for whatever reason. And there's no reason given. And so this is a paid community that I pay for. And this is ours, and nobody's going to take it away from us. But and the reason why is because I pay for it. If you do it for free, then you're on somebody else's land, and they can do anything they want with your account. Facebook, Instagram, even Substack. I don't know. I haven't heard even Discord. Discord has been problems. Now, how many Facebook, Instagram, those are dangerous places for chameleon people. I don't think I could get in trouble on Discord or Substack, but I know some people who have. And but anyway, I don't want to be on anybody else's land. We want to be on our own, and that's what the virtual campus is. And if you're interested in joining, then you can go to chameleonacademy.com and you will see a little blurb about the virtual campus. So Dr. Nash's episode on hydration was a great listen and made me think. Yes. But next Monday we will be having the podcast from Dr. Nash, because let me check to see what the topic is. All right, we're going to be talking about lighting and then feeding. We had a question about feeding the mini chameleons, and so Carson, that's going to be a week from Monday, and then next Monday is going to be on lighting. But and it's a good question about feeding these mini chameleons, because if we're talking about having them in bioactive situations, most of these guys are wild caught. So how do you do any sort of quarantine like we do on the larger chameleons? And the answer is you sometimes don't. You either have them in a somewhat sterile setup to begin with for the first 3 months, or else you just have to manage the parasite load, and you know that you're never going to be free of it. And this is where people start saying, what? You live with parasites for the rest of the life? Yeah. Chameleons do that. They can live with a parasite load and they can be totally healthy. That means that you are making sure that your husbandry is top notch with the hydration, with the feeding, with the temperatures. Because if the chameleon's immune system is at the top notch, it will fight off parasites. Now, you're saying, but Bill, won't being in a closed system spiral parasites out of control? It could. So this is where there's no right answer. There's just, what do you decide? And sometimes there is no easy, obvious answer. And that's what I do. I give you the truth, not necessarily the nice answers. I'm going to take care of this son. Gosh. Yeah. I'm going to have to take care of that in a permanent way. So, Mike's asking, what is your opinion, Bill, using computer fans for air movement? Would you rather force air in from the bottom, pull air out the top? Keep in mind the chimney effect. I like to have fans blowing across the top of the cage, and that helps draw air out. So it's like supercharging the chimney effect. I know a number of people, they have fans blowing into the cage. I also like having fans pulling air out. But, you talk to James Cross, he's just that crazy guy. He just puts that fans blowing into the cage and stuff. So, everybody's got their way of doing it, and it works. So it really depends on how much more ventilation you need in your unique situation. And you have different ways of doing it. Chimney effect is the lowest, is the most slowest ventilation. Having the fan blow across the cage is the top of the cage is the next step up. Having a fan blow out, so it's sucking air up, is the next step up. And then having a fan blow air in, that is the final step that gives you the most airflow. So you've got your options depending upon what you need. John D. Davis says, truth is always best. Yes, it's not always, sometimes it's messy, but yeah, it's best. And funny stories about growing feeders. After our boy passed, we realized we have hornworms and raise those to moths. Now it's mantises and labia. We chameleon people, we become insect people. That's just the way of it. They are so fun. Carson says, feeding my wild caught as contained as possible, but it's impossible with fruit flies and bean beetles that can crawl in everything. Now, the advantage with bean beetles and fruit flies is fruit flies like to stay on the fruit Bean beetles like to stay up. So at the very least, they won't naturally go to where the poop usually is. So not naturally, not usually. So there's a lot of percentages there. But at least with fruit flies, if you give them fruit, like put a little fruit cup up a little bit, the fruit flies will stay on the fruit and they're less likely to get where the poop is. Not saying they won't, it's just less likely. So you're playing the percentages. But bean beetles get everywhere. Yeah, they do. Yeah, they do. That's true. All right. Two Turtle Tom says, unlike Sean, I give you grace, Bill. We appreciate your content when you can make it. Yes. See, Two Turtle Tom, you're my friend. Sean, I tell you. Let's see. Nate puts his fans blowing in at an angle facing the acrylic door to bounce the air around. Okay. Yeah. I blow mine in. This is James talking from the top. It helps dry out my habitat better. There we go. And then didn't Flick say something about how he does it somewhere? Oh, gosh. Well, I can't find it. Okay, so this is what happens. I can't go. I get lost in the chat. Okay, Flick has his pulling out. There you go. You have everybody using, Mike, you have everybody using all the different ways that they can use a fan. That's the wonderful thing about having a community. You can just reach across and there's somebody doing it, something different. We can all learn how that works. So that's really cool. So, all right. Okay, we are getting to the final stages of this show. And so if you have a question that is burning on your mind, please put it in the chat so we can cover it. And let's see, talking about fans blowing in dries out the floor as well. And James says, tried it the other way, Carson, but it just seemed to keep my enclosures drier during the day. Okay, so yeah, James likes the fan blowing into the cage. Here we go. So, and we have Wayne Abidi says, I flip my fan every few days to keep the air different. All right, so he's got air currents. And so Troy's asking, anyone look into water systems like cleaners and scrubber to supply water to other things? Obviously not fresh water for drinking, but using dirty water for other uses or fish tank for beta water. What? Okay, you can use your RO water for that, but are you talking about recycling water? And in that case, that would be a little bit dicey. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know what the dangers are of chameleon versus betas, but anyway, for that, I will have no recommendation because I have not done it and I have not considered it, but I will always accept people's experiences to share with me so I can learn more about this world. So, James says, I use all my extra water to water plants. Yes, that's what I do. That's what I do with all of my excess water is I throw it out into the garden. And I realize, and I keep an idea, I keep realizing if you do that with wild caught poop, you are putting chameleon parasites into your backyard, which could be picked up by insects in your backyard if you want to feed those to your chameleons. So just remember that dynamic is possible. and I am fully aware of what I could be doing with my chameleons, and I don't worry about it. I got a microscope. I take care of things. That is the wonderful thing about having a microscope. So, flush my water. Feel bad, but what Bill says, Parasite. Yep, exactly. And so, Liza Ann, what you're doing is better practice. That's best practice. Oh, wow. Nick's got another Wilsey. I didn't know you were working with Wilsey. Nick, that is so wonderful. I love Wilsey. All of a sudden, everybody's working with Petri. Everybody. A lot of people are working with Petri. It's like, what happened to Wilsey? But Petri is cool, too. But I'm very glad to hear that, Nick. That's one. Tony's asking, is hibiscus plant safe for chameleons? Yes, it is very safe for chameleons. It is a wonderful plant for chameleons. The only problem is that it needs more light than most indoor setups can offer, and so it generally dies inside of a chameleon enclosure. But if you use enough LED bars, you can light hibiscus, and hibiscus can be happy with multiple LED bars above the cage. And when we use multiple LED bars, we actually can grow some really cool plants. Like I've had passion flower, and I've had passion flower bloom inside with those LED bars. So a lot of possibilities when we bring in enough light. Yeah. All right, my friends. Let's wind this down. The next time I will see you, well, for those of you who want to hang out at Sean's show, where I am not responsible for my behavior or my actions. I disavow all responsibility. That's tomorrow night. But the next Chameleon Academy event is going to be the weekly Saturday Chameleon workshop on Saturday at 12 noon Pacific. So, Bill, can you share a photo of Wilsey? I think I can. You guys want to hang out for a sec? Let me see if I have it easily available. I do. All right. All right, everybody, you're going to get your first for Wilsey picture. If you're on YouTube, because Instagram doesn't let me do this. Oh, Instagram has a feature that allows you to put up photos. Yeah, but my app is broken, and so when I do that, it literally shuts down the entire show. There's a picture of a male for Wilsey. Fast Fury says, I was into the chameleon 16 years ago and left the hobby, but my 7-year-old son just got his first chameleon. Is there any new things on the market? Oh, my goodness, Fast Fury. Oh, my goodness. We have 16 years ago. So that's 3 years before I started the Dragon Strength Chameleon Caging Company. So 16 years ago, this will be fun. 16 years ago, chameleons had to be in screen cages or they would die. Incorrect. Actually, hybrid cages are better for chameleons than screen cages. That's new. We have a higher awareness of the importance of hydration, and thus the hybrid cages. So it's all kind of connected, and we use fogging as a primary hydration method, which blows a lot of people's mind today, and 16 years ago would be complete fantasy and ridiculousness. But that's what we do now. Misting and fogging together are the perfect hydration. 16 years ago, I don't know, was Madagascar open 16 years ago? It's open now. If it was closed for like over 20 years, but now it's open. Yeah, I think 16 years ago it would have been closed. So Tanzania was open, Madagascar was closed. Now Tanzania is closed and Madagascar is open. There you go. And I lead trips to Madagascar. So if you and your son would like to go and visit Madagascar, I go in January and I've got 2 spots left. So if you want to do that, there's still enough time to just say, hey, I want to do that. And if you want, you call me, contact me at bill@chameleonacademy.com. But those are the major things that have changed in the last 16 years. Whew. A lot's changed. Hey, just send me an email of the first baby. So, but I've got to, it is time. Can't believe you have 2 spots, Bill. What the heck? Yeah, what the heck? And I could take 4 more, but 2 more is the sweet spot that I like. That's what I like. So, all right, everybody. Nick, we are going to, you guys want to hang out? I will make an exception. I usually will never show any pictures that I've been emailed because it just gets out of hand. But when we're talking about a baby, first for a hatchling, first for Wilsey, I make exceptions for that. I make exceptions for exceptional situations. And this is it. So I will make this exception nice. Let's see. Let's go to that. There's Nick's baby. Hey! Oh my goodness, look at that little thing. It's amazing. Oh. There we go. I may be in for 2027 if James is going. What the heck? Okay. James, you have ever injected feeders for medication? You know what I do? I actually get those flat end toothpicks and I scoop up just a little bit of medication and use that for my babies. Babies are tough. So, all right, everybody, it's time for me to go and eat something. This is the first time I can eat in 2 weeks, like regular food. So I'm going to be happy. Almost regular food. Almost. Not totally, but almost there. Almost there. Just impacted on the surface. All right, everybody. Thank you very much for making Tuesday a wonderful night and a lot of fun. And I will see you all, some of you tomorrow night, but officially I will see you Saturday afternoon at 12 p.m. Pacific. And remember, if you're interested in coming to that seminar about how to be a foster parent, how to put together a rack like this to raise babies, join the virtual campus. And it's going to be on Sunday. Sunday at 1. What did I say? 1 p.m. I think it's 1 p.m. Pacific on Sunday. But anyway, have a great day. Have a great week. And I'll see you later.